Hi, so this morning I've got Kirsty with me from Breathe Birth Yoga, and we're going to be talking about the benefits of yoga during pregnancy. So Kirsty, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us about what you do?
Hi, I'm Kirsty. I'm the founder of Breathe Birth Yoga. I teach pregnancy yoga, mum and baby yoga, postnatal yoga. I am also a birth and postnatal doula, breastfeeding peer supporter. I help with some maternity charities in the area, trying to improve the services in my local area.
That's lovely. So so have you been teaching at home during the lockdown?
Yeah, I have been teaching a little bit at home during lockdown. I've done some Zoom classes on Saturday mornings. We've decided to put those on hold for a little while now. For me, there was a little bit of a lack of connection with my students online. So we're going to wait now until lockdown is over, and I'm going to be starting some new exciting pregnancy classes as soon as we can, really. We're not sure of dates yet, but they'll be in Writtle in Chelmsford.
Writtle. Okay, lovely. Lovely. So if somebody contacts you for a one-to-one, is that a possibility? Is that something that you could do?
Yeah, absolutely. We can do one-to-ones, no problem at all. That's quite nice. You build up more of a connection doing a one-to-one.
Sure.
It'd be lovely.
And would you recommend weekly sessions? How would you go about it?
Yeah, I think once a week is a good amount. I would always give you asanas or yoga moves to take away and practice at home. A lot of mums will come in and say, oh, my lower back aches, or I've got some sciatica or something. So I will give you some more yoga to do at home, really, to help keep you fit and active and get rid of those aches and pains.
Lovely. So can you tell us about what kinds of effects that doing regular yoga during pregnancy has on the birth?
There's loads and loads of benefits. I could talk about it all day.
Oh,
practicing, from the second and third trimester is great for you. I think a lot of mums come in with a lot of apprehension, particularly with first babies, or if they've experienced trauma from a first birth. Very stressed and anxious, just about the unknown and what may or may not happen. Because I'm a doula as well, there's often a lot of questions asked that I'm happy to answer. I love to talk about birth. So I can help ease some anxiety along the way. We do a lot of breathing techniques, visualizations, as well as all the movement. And that really puts mums' minds at ease. Lots of techniques to use during the different stages of labour and birth. We do positive affirmations, loads of different techniques.
Okay, so it's
breathing is lovely.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So it's a whole holistic technique.
Yes.
Movement, breathing, affirmations, the whole picture there. Amazing.
For my classes as well, I could, normally I would ask a mum to book a block of 6. Normally, I could do it one-on-one at a time if they want. That's absolutely fine. But over a course of 6 weeks, we will do a session based on relieving anxiety. One on sleeping. A lot of mums struggle to sleep towards the end. One about energy and how to get some more. All things your mums need. We do a session on pelvic floor. Although we do incorporate pelvic floor exercises every week, I will do one session specifically focusing on that area. We'll talk about.
That's a question I get a lot about is pelvic floor exercises and how to do those.
Yeah.
I
tell my mums to go and do lots of sets every day. I'm not sure they do though.
Okay. And do you give a specific reminder? Like I've heard mums say, when I get to a red light, I do them.
Yeah. When you're making a cup of tea or something, find your own focus point and do it every time you do that activity. Brushing your teeth twice a day or something.
Okay, so you can't do it too many times then. You can find a point and then do it. Can't overdo it. Sorry.
Like any exercise, the pelvic floor is a muscle. You don't want to overdo it because it can fatigue. So
right, okay.
Carried away.
So don't get carried away. Okay, okay.
At least 3 sets of 10 a day. Maybe that's a good amount, roughly.
Okay, that's really good. So how would you feel about giving us a little talk through of how to do that?
How I teach it is come into a comfortable position. If you're sitting back, it's all right. You can't feel your pelvic floor working as well if you're sitting back. So I always get my ladies to come maybe over a birth ball, if you can see me, something like this,
okay.
a forward sitting position.
Okay, yeah.
You can feel your pelvic floor working better in that kind of position. So anyway, sit comfortably.
Yeah.
And I would start by saying inhale and exhale. We want to relax to start with. And when I say, and in a moment, I'm going to say squeeze, hold and release. Now, when I say hold, I'm not asking you to hold your breath. A lot of people go, that's not what we want. It's squeeze, hold and release of the pelvic floor area.
Okay.
Actually, the pelvic floor is like a trampoline. It runs from your pubic bone at the front, right the way around the back to your tailbone. Coccyx. And like any other muscle, it needs exercising. There's the weight of, particularly when you're pregnant, you've got the weight of your baby, placenta, fluids, and all of your internal organs weighing down on that. So it is important to exercise this muscle. So we'd start by sitting up, taking some nice deep breaths in and out through the nose. And then we will begin. I will say squeeze, hold, release. Squeeze, hold, release. Squeeze, hold, release. Squeeze, hold and release. I do that a few more times. And then I'd go on to slightly longer holds. I would say squeeze, hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and release.
Okay, so you're building up slowly, kind of
building up. We're doing short, rapid squeezes, and then we're holding for longer. And really, you should try and hold for a count of 5 or 6 with those longer ones.
Okay, and is
There's
that
a few other techniques, but they're the easy ones. Sorry?
So is that during pregnancy as well? You could count to 6. That's good amount.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, but make sure you don't hold your breath when doing it. People really have a tendency to do that, but we want a continuous stream of oxygen down to your baby when you're pregnant.
Of course. Oh, that's lovely. Thank you. Okay, another question that I often get is about SPD. I know that's a massive topic, so we had a brief chat about it earlier. Can you explain a little bit more about what SPD is? I know it's also called pelvic girdle pain now, so there's 2 different ways to describe it. It is pain in the pelvis, isn't it, during pregnancy? I know that people find it really difficult to walk. Sometimes people are in crutches. Can yoga help, and what would you suggest?
Yoga can help, yeah. SPD, or symphysis pubis dysfunction, as it's also known, the full name, is really common in pregnancy. I think it's about 1 in 4 or 5 people suffer some kind of pelvic girdle pain or SPD.
Wow.
Yeah, it is a lot. And the reason for it is because of a hormone called relaxin in your body. The relaxin has a use. It's there to help your pelvis expand and let the baby out eventually. But it makes your hips and pelvis a little unstable, and all your other joints, in fact. So you have to be careful during pregnancy that you don't overstretch.
Right.
So with yoga and SPD, we wouldn't do all the stretches that I would do for somebody else, for example. We would work on stabilizing and strengthening that area. We would do a lot of pelvic floor work, things like chair pose, things that are strengthening. We wouldn't have our knees wide apart or do like forward bends with wide legs. We'd always keep the legs closer together to keep the hips stable. But it is possible to do yoga with SPD. A lot of people think if you've got that, you can't do it.
Yeah, but you couldn't. Yeah.
No, it's fine. We just have to make it adapt it to your needs. There's many conditions people might have, carpal tunnel syndrome or different conditions. We just adapt, so everybody can do pregnancy yoga, really.
Thanks, Kirsty. We talked about SPD. And what other common sorts of complaints and discomforts would you experience in class, and would you be able to help with?
I think the most common complaint that the women come in with, I think nearly everybody at some stage, is lower back pain or sciatica. It affects them at different stages in their pregnancy, normally towards the end. But there's loads and loads of things we can do for that. A few of my ladies have come in limping with sciatica pain and gone out feeling much better, and said it has lasted them the week, better feeling, and they've been much more mobile. Good things for that is just getting the hips moving, even standing hip circles, sitting on a birth ball. I will recommend these highly. Doing circles on there, side to side, figure of eights. In my class, we'll often do a lot on all fours, and we will do pelvic tilts, cat, which just moves the pelvis and really releases that lower back. So I think a lot of people really benefit if they've got lower back pain and sciatica. Come along to yoga.
That's great. And actually, you mentioned that, and I've thought in hypnobirthing, we recommend that mums get upright and forward actually during labour and beforehand. So what effect does that have on the labour in terms of positioning?
Being in those kind of positions are fantastic for birthing as well as earlier stages of the labour, I think. Two of the classes I teach, we do an optimum fetal positioning class, and I do an active birthing class. And I'll show you all positions that you can be in through all the different stages of your labour to help with the birthing. Being upright, forward and open, as you mentioned then, UFO, is fantastic for getting the baby into that optimum fetal position. I think
and does it widen the pelvis as well? Is that kind of the aim?
Being birthing in an upright position can actually open your pelvis to up to 30%, which is a massive amount. Compared to when you're lying on your back on a bed, for example, compared to being forward, upright, squatting, for example. 30%.
So that's going to affect your pushing stage and make that a lot easier then in terms of time.
In my birth classes, we will talk a lot about gravity, getting that involved. If you're upright, gravity is helping that baby come down the birth canal, and you'll meet your baby quicker, and that's what we all want.
That's what we want, definitely.
I will add lots of links for you. I'm starting to do some 10-minute tasters on the blog, on my website. It's breathebirthyoga.co.uk. You can have a little look on my website. There's one video on there already, and every week I'm going to put some new ones on for different stages of pregnancy, and some that might be okay for postnatal work. I'm going to get the birth ball involved in one as well.
Oh, fantastic.
And you can have all links to that.
Fantastic. Lovely.
Give some a test.
Lovely. Oh, thank you so much for being with us today. That's fantastic. And we'll look forward to having a look through those links and getting to know more about yoga. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.